In this No Man's Sky video, I'm going to show you the location of my chlorine and circuit board farm, but not only that, I'm also going to show you how to create a circuit board farm just using 2 biodomes. Normally you need between 10 and 20 biodomes to create this farm, which of course uses up a lot of rendering in the game and uses quite a lot of base parts. Of course you can use this biodome method for other plants, and later in the game it's going to come in really handy for more complex builds. Well, I've collected everything from the central computer from the both biodomes. Let's construct those circuit boards. The reason I've chosen circuit boards is because that's something you're given quite early in the game. Of course you don't have to do the circuit boards, but we'll get to that later. Not only did my biodomes have circuit boards, they had ambient pulse, 106,000 units, gravitino balls, better return, 400,000 units, and of course sac venom, which I got 600,000 units for, and of course those were in batches of 10. And finally, for a batch of 10 circuit boards, I got 9 million units. The return might not be that great just yet, but the technique I'm going to show you is going to lead to a lot of money later on. But remember, when you're selling your items, sell them to a trader who flies into the space station, not at the space station itself. Of course, this base is not just for circuit boards, it's also for chlorine. As you can see, I've got a salt mine going on, where I'm collecting 10,000 salt. But the more important item, 20,000 oxygen. First things first, let's convert the salt into chlorine. If you wish, you can add oxygen at this stage to increase the yield. It converts it from a 2:1 ratio, increasing it to a 2:5 ratio. Of course, this will take time to convert it from a salt oxygen to chlorine. But once that's done, break it into little packets by selecting the item and splitting it into halves and then quarters, but remember to do that for the chlorine and for the oxygen. And as you can see, it's a 1:6 ratio and a 2:6 ratio to create more chlorine. Of course, now you have the chlorine, you can simply visit the following day to get more oxygen to create more chlorine. Of course, this is the infinite chlorine cycle, and you'll get 2 million units per batch. And of course, my oxygen refreshes every 10 hours. Which means if you visit here early game, it's going to be really useful. But the base is on a planet called Minty, and of course here's the portal code with a convenient pause. Okay, let's move on to the most important part of the video, how to have all the plants in 2 biodomes. I'm going to use an old technique of mine to attach the cuboid rooms to the stone floor panels. Another useful thing to know, if you click on craft a product, select the item you want to craft, then view craft steps, you'll be presented with a complete breakdown of everything you need. So to make 25 circuit boards, you'll need to plant 50 frost crystal, you'll need to plant 100 solarium, you'll need to plant 25 cactus plants, and 190 star bulbs. So let's attach biodomes to my build. Then go inside my biodome and delete that corridor for now. Now let's select a plant and green state it to the snap point, but don't place it, hit wire and place at the same time. The buttons you need to press depending on platform, you can see in the bottom left corner now, and then carefully line the wire up so it comes to the center and then place it. Then we're going to green state a plant at the side of it and press wire and place at the same time and then connect that wire to that long wire. Then of course you're going to do that for the next one along, and don't worry if you mess it up, you will do from time to time. This really isn't any different to doing a button combination in a fighting game. And of course you're going to do that until you create a complete circle all the way around the biodome. When you completed that complete circle, you can get rid of that long wire. Of course when that's done, you can put the rest of the cuboids in, and you'll have to attach 2 doors so you can access the biodome. And as soon as you completed the first biodome, you can do the same for the other side. For the first set of plants, all you have to do is place them course I'm just going to put 10 in each biodome. You could do 15 if you wish, just don't put it at the door because it'll make it difficult to get in and out of the biodome. And then to place more plants, you select item, go into the wire menu, move your cursor to the snap point, then simply hit wire and place at the same time. In this version of the wire glitch, it's easier than the previous version. Just make sure the plant is fully spawned in before moving on to the next one. Of course, once you've done one set of plants, you can move on to a new set. The hardest thing here is keeping track of all the plants you've put in. I would count the rows instead of the number of plants. If you've messed up like I have here, make sure it's the plant information, not the wire information that pops up in the corner, or it will boot you out the menu like it has done to me just now. Because once you've been booted at the menu, later on in the build when things get more complicated, you might find it hard to track what plants you put in place. So if you take your time, everything will run smoothly. And like I said earlier, don't put anything in front of the doorway or you're going to have problems getting in and out of the biodome. And this biodome technique you're going to find really useful at a later point in the game, especially when you want to build something like stasis devices, which gives you 15 million units per one, and when you build a stasis farm, money will never be a problem ever again. In fact, that just happens to be the next video that I'll be releasing in a little while. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, hit that like and subscribe button, or on the bell thingy. And of course, thank you for watching. See you all later.